Hey everybody, it's Miss Moran. This week we are going to be working with the inverse operation of addition, which is what we worked with last week. So we're going to be doing subtraction. And we'll be doing subtraction with regrouping and also using estimation in word problem scenarios so that we can determine the reasonableness of our answer. I'm not going to really show you word problems today. I'm going to show you more some strategies and some things to be careful about when it comes to subtraction. Because I think we've done a good job of working with word problems and deciding whether we're using addition or subtraction. That will come in class and in our problem solving scenarios. So the language we're going to use in subtraction with regrouping is to take 1, give 10. So in our place value chapter, we talked about how one place is 10 times the value of the place to the right. So every time we take 1 away, it would be 10 times its value to the right. So that's what we're going to do. When we subtract, a lot of students know that when the number on the bottom is larger than the number on the top, that we need to regroup. And they know they need that number to be bigger, and a lot of times they just make it 10 bigger. But you can't just make it bigger, it has to come from somewhere, and that's where the take part comes from. And we're going to take before we make numbers bigger. Take 1, then give 10. So here's a number we're looking at. First we're going to do an estimate to make sure that our answer is reasonable. So I'm going to look at these two numbers, and they're both in the 10,000s. So generally we can round to the place that they both share. So we'll round 48,000. That'll round up to between 40 and 50,000, so rounding up to 50,000. And 26,000 is between 20 and 30,000. That will round up to 30,000. Okay, so 50,000 minus 30,000, about 20,000. That does not mean that we need to get a number that is 20,000, but we know that it needs to be around that size. So if I end up with something in the thousands or the 100,000s, then I know I've made a major mistake. We talked last week about how estimation will not tell us our answer is correct, but it will tip us off that something is majorly wrong with our work. So we're looking for something that will be close to that. All right, so we're looking, can we subtract? 6 minus 4? I sure can, so no need to regroup. So 6 minus 4 is 2. Can I do 3 minus 7? I cannot. This is where we're going to take 1, give 10. We're going to take 1 from right next door. So taking 1 brings us down to a 1. And we're going to give, so 1 of these is going to become 10 of these. So we'll add a 10 to the 3 that's there, making this a 13. And then I subtract 1 column at a time. 13 minus 7 is 6, and 1 minus 5, can't do. So since I can't do, I'm going to take 1, make this a 7, and give that 10 over here, making that 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. 7 minus 6 I can do, no need to regroup. A lot of times students will regroup this just because they think they're on a roll, they've already started regrouping, they might as well keep going, but you only regroup when it's necessary. 7 minus 6 is 1, and 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, 21,662. Certainly reasonable and in the right size of 20,000. Okay, again, just because we have an estimate of 20,000 doesn't mean this is correct. I may have messed this up by even 1 digit somewhere, and that's not going to give me the correct answer. So again, our estimates are only going to help us determine the reasonableness of our answer. All right, let's take a look at another one, a little bit bigger here. So 346,209 minus 308,425. So students will say, well, they're both in the 100,000, so I'll just round to the nearest 100,000. So between 300 and 400,000, this will round down to 300,000. This 308,000 will also round to 300,000. This is a problem when it comes to subtraction, because when I do 300,000 minus 300,000, I'm ending up with zeros across the board. So 0 is not a very good estimate, because obviously these numbers are not identical. So since my rounding put these numbers into the same place value, it gave me no value here. So what we need to do is we need to round this to a smaller place, a more precise place. So we'll try instead to the nearest 10,000. Okay, so this is between 340 and 350,000. So 350,000 minus between 300 and 310,000, 310,000. Okay, so 40,000 is going to be a much more reasonable estimate than 0. Okay, again, it doesn't have to be 40,000, but I should know that I'm getting an answer somewhere in the 30 to 40,000 range. All right, so we're going to go ahead and subtract. 9 minus 5 I can do. It's 4. 0 minus 2 I can't do. Some students are real quick to just bring that 2 down, but the 0, you cannot take away 2 from 0. So we're going to take 1 and give 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 1 minus 4 I can't do. Take 1 give 10. 11 minus 4 is 7. 5 minus 8 can't do. Take 1, give 10. 15 minus 8 is 7. 3 minus 0 is 3, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So 37,784. Some students might question whether or not that's reasonable enough. Generally, you would say 37,000 would round to about 40,000, so it is reasonable. But one thing we're going to look at students to do, especially if they don't feel real confident with their subtraction, is using addition to go back and check their answer. So we can take 308,425, which we were subtracting, add to it our answer of 37,784, and know we're correct if we come back to our original number up here. So 5 plus 4 is 9, 8 plus 2 is 10, regroup my 1, 5 plus 7 is 12, 16, 4, and 3. 346,209, 346,209. So that checks out. So I've done my subtraction and I've done my addition to go back and make sure that my answer is correct. All right, one more thing we're going to talk about is subtracting across zeros. Always something that students have trouble with because they try to look at shortcuts, or someone has told them just put numbers here. But we're going to try to not do that. We're going to stick to our rule of take 1 and give 10, because then that's the same thing every single time. We're never changing our rule depending on the numbers we're given. Okay, I can't do 0 minus 5, so I'm going to come over here, but there's nothing to take. Nothing to take here, nothing to take here. I'm going to have to come all the way over here, turn that into a 4, take 1, and give 10 right here, not all the way over here. Okay, now that I have 10 here, now I can take 1, turn this into a 10. And now that this has some value, then I can take 1 to turn this into a 10. So 10 minus 5 is 5, 9 minus 6 is 3, 9 minus 3 is 6, and 4 minus 2 is 2, 2,635. A little shortcut that I show the kids, it's called the same change rule. So if students don't like this and they're bothered by this, or someone gave them a shortcut that doesn't seem to make sense for them all the time, one thing you can do is take this 5,000 and make it one number less, 4,999. This is going to automatically give me large values up here and no need to regroup, and subtract that same number, 2,365. 9 minus 5 is 4, 9 minus 6 is 3, 9 minus 3 is 6, and 4 minus 2 is 2. 2,634, but that's not my actual answer because that's not the actual number I should have started with. This should have been one number more, so I need to make my answer also one number more. So add one more to that, 2,635. Same answer, no need to regroup. So this doesn't take kids long to catch on to this. It's very simple to do, and kids usually find a lot of success with this. Okay, again, you're not sure you're correct, and you're going to go back and check your work with the additions. We'll take the answer we got, 2,635, add to that 2,365, kind of pick some funny numbers there. 5 plus 5 is 10, another 10, another 10, and 5. So back to 5,000, which is what we started with, and that checks out. All right, again, so all this week we're really going to be practicing on making sure that we feel confident with our subtraction, that we know how to regroup, and that we really understand that you're doing the same thing every time. Take 1, give 10. That's all there is to it. Also using estimation to make sure our answers are reasonable, and going back and adding our subtracted answers so that we feel confident in our answer. Again, we're going to be doing all this in the context of problem-solving scenarios. So we'll get practice with both word problem approaches and also just practicing with subtraction. All right, thank you for taking your time to watch, and go ahead and comment or like the video. Thank you.